Hi everyone, morning. Joe here, and I have Jeremy here today. Jeremy, tell us what are you doing and who you are.
My name is Jeremy. I'm actually a practitioner from the Cave Collective. So I like to describe my work as really surfacing the unconscious. As Carl Jung, grandfather of psychology, actually said, until you bring the unconscious to the conscious awareness, it will always direct your life and you call it fate. I'm actually a psychological astrologer, I'm an inner dance facilitator, and a parts work practitioner as well. So a lot of what I do, it's really about creating the conditions through which we can begin to surface the unconscious. And the question is, like, how do we get in touch with what we don't know? Because that's the unconscious, right? And from my experience, it's really about coming in touch with our projections through our dreams, through using visualization. Because a lot of the unconscious really is the language that it speaks is through imagery. The moment we can give an image to a feeling and sensation, we can unravel some of the stories that it's holding deep within our unconscious as well.
And I think it was also the first time I tried and
Yes.
attended your
Yeah,
inner
that's how we
dream.
got to know each other. Inner dance, yeah.
So what then made you wanted to pursue this work? Because it's very unique. I've never heard of anyone
Sure.
who had done inner dream.
Yeah, what made me come to it? I always joke with people when they ask me this question because it's just a natural occurrence, right? Like I didn't actively want to seek out, oh, I'm gonna learn inner dance. I guess one thing at a time as I began to understand what am I drawn to, right? And really giving myself the openness and curiosity to explore. It's just one thing led to the next. My first foray into this whole practice was actually astrology. So this was when I was still in uni actually. I met my mentor May Sim, which you also are familiar with. I met May at a period of time where I was, oh my god, is there more to life than just getting a degree? Okay, I'm gonna get a reading from May, right? Just to get a sense of how far astrology could be as a system because of what she said. You can really tell so much about a person's character and personality. So when I really did the consultation with her, I realized that wow, she could tell me all about my relationship patterns and how it stemmed from my relationship with my mother, my father, and how that was then being extended or projected into my relationships as well. From that day onwards, it really gave me that curiosity to how can I take this further, how can I learn this, how can I study this, and yeah, I just followed that curiosity. I started practicing astrology in 2018, 2019. I started out doing like written reports for my friends in uni back then. You imagine like $50, 3-page, 4-page reports. So I really started that way, and I told myself I'm gonna gain a confidence just to build expertise. I kept doing it until even after I graduated, but then once I started working, I felt like there wasn't much time. I was also working in a digital marketing agency back then. I was doing pretty well, but eventually I realized that it just didn't have that depth of transformation that I was looking for when I was able to do consultations and readings. So when COVID happened, I just took that leap of faith to like my biggest clients' marketing budgets were all pulling out, and I was like, okay, I think it's a sign. So I really just transited out without much plan. But I already had this sense of like people already had demand for what the work that I was doing. So I was just really focusing on that. So yeah, I started out with astrology, and then 1 year, 2 years later, I realized also that astrology was a very cognitive tool. It's like I can read a chart, I can tell you about you, but a lot of it is still based on my biasness and how I see the world. The question is, okay, so what if I give you information? Can you still change? And I was looking for what were the conditions of change that allowed somebody else to shift, whether it's emotionally, whether it's some of their behavior patterns. So that's when I came across IFS, or internal family systems, or parts work, many different names people call it nowadays. So the whole idea here is that if I can get you in touch with that part of you that is in very strong protector mode, right? For example, you are always angry, and get you to connect with that part, to give this part an image that now we can be in dialogue with. You can see this angry part of you from a third party's lens. You can understand its motivations and how it shows up in your body and where you're feeling this anger stored. And as we begin to speak and resource and change the part's relationship with anger, or to understand why is it angry in the first place, because there's an underlying fear. Now we can begin to be in relationship with that anger rather than keep saying, why am I always so angry? Now I'm in relationship with the anger, and that's how we can begin to change that dynamic as well.
Thanks for sharing. I think it's very insightful, and perhaps also just quite curious that you've been in this work for some time. What is one biggest find or main key things that you keep seeing people coming to you are facing these days?
I think it's a variety of things, but these days specifically is very interesting because I feel that a lot of people are questioning, right? Or do I really want my 9 to 5? Is this what life is all about? What's next for me? Like if I have this thing that I really want to do, but yet I have all these social obligations, I have the bills to pay, right? So how do
Yeah.
I pursue this? So there's this very strong conflict between what I need to do based on survival, based on what society expects of me, versus what I really want to experience in life as well. Second thing I'm also noticing also is a lot of people come to me because of relationship patterns, and I mean we are all social creatures and relationships are a huge part of our life as well. I guess the question of why am I always different faces, different relational partners, but same dynamics keep happening.
I think those are really good sharing. Perhaps, to kind of leave a final message to our audience. If someone is looking for, seeking for like a meaningful work, any advice would you have for them?
I like to think about how can we give meaning to work instead? How can meaning arise from deep within us? And it comes back down into understanding who we are as a person first and foremost. It's like, even in relationships, I want to feel love. I can only feel love if somebody loves me first, rather than how can I become an embodiment of love? How can I become an embodiment of value? So I feel that it comes back down to, do you understand yourself to so clearly to a point where you know why you're doing something? And I think that's the basis of this work. A lot of us have this persona, right? Or we grew up feeling like we always have to meet expectations, and we don't know underlying those expectations, what do we truly value, what do we truly stand for. And to me is, once you learn how to decondition, and there's a lot of shame involved, right? We tend to feel like, not practical, how can it sustain me? So we tend to shame who we truly are as well. And I think once we become fully present and we have that capacity to embody and to live that desire, that value within us, right? Or light, I like to call it as light, right? Then whatever we touch just becomes an extension of who we really are. And that to me is meaning. We are giving meaning to things rather than we are trying to seek meaning from something. If that makes sense for you. Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you so much, Jeremy. If someone would like to, look you up, where would we be able to find you?
Yeah, so I'm actually most active on Instagram at The Cave Collective, or you can also visit my website to find out more about my specific services at www.thecavecollective.co. I also do host monthly inner dance workshops and sessions. So what inner dance is actually using sound and frequency as a way to entrain brainwave states into the dream state or the REM phase. So that's where dreaming actually happens. So the reason why I work with dreams a lot is because dreams is a natural biological occurrence that actually helps us to process some of the information or the emotions that in our daily lives, right, we might not have the capacity or we don't dare to confront. So dreams is actually our organic way of processing some of this information. When we don't dream is where, some of these emotions are never processed, are never stored. So by creating the conditions using sound and frequency to help people to surface these dreams, that's where we can become present with the stories so that we can bring into integration.
That's all we have today. Thank you so much for your time. Do look up Jeremy, and if you have any other further questions, let us know and we'll get back to you again.
Thank you.